Hi everyone, today I get to hike the wave. I'm actually halfway there, but I'm going to walk you through from the beginning everything you need to know, how to prepare, and I will also give you my opinion on how you can increase your chances of getting a permit. Because I applied for the 4-month permit 2 years ago and I didn't get it and I sort of gave up, but this time I applied for it online for the 2-day advance permit and I got it, and this was my first time and I think I know what helped me. So stay tuned, enjoy this video. It's beautiful scenery and I will let you know how you can hopefully do this in the future. So the most important thing you need to know about the wave is that you must have a permit. You cannot just hike it. If you get caught hiking without a permit, you will have to pay $1,000 fine, and you cannot buy the permit at the trailhead. It is only available in advance. Your hike will start at the same trailhead that will take you to Wire Pass Trail as well as Buckskin Gulch, and you will go on the same trail for a little bit, but then you will turn to the right. There will be a very obvious sign, and you will start hiking uphill, and that's what we were doing right here. And you can actually hike part of this. So just because you are turning on the wave trail, it doesn't mean that it's forbidden. You can go a little bit of ways. There will be a very obvious sign telling you that you are now on the wave trail, and it is a permit only trail, so you can't miss it and you can't use it as an excuse that you didn't see it or you got lost. Pretty soon you will come to a very wide wash that you're going to cross, and then you will see that sign I was just telling you about, that is telling you that it is now permit only. So if you don't have that permit, you must turn around. Like I said earlier, I will tell you later how you can increase your chances of getting this permit, but for right now, let's just assume that you have it, and when you picked up that permit, they would give you a map, a very detailed map, lots of instructions and pictures of all these rock formations. But at this point right here, I still found it a little bit hard to know which way to go. There were footprints everywhere, and one thing helped was there was a family that knew what they were doing, so they were hiking up on these rocks. But also I was able to look at my app. There are lots of hiking apps out there. I actually use a hunting app. It's called Onyx Hunt, and that one had a very clear, very accurate view of the trail, but other apps will have the same thing. I would suggest to do that and not just rely on the paper they'll give you. At least I don't think I would be very confident just using that. There are only 60 people that can hike the wave in any day. I actually can't remember if it's 60 or 65, but that's not a lot of people, and there are actually 2 ways to access it, at least 2 that I know. So chances are you're not going to see many people. If you do run into a group, a big family such as I did, and they were a little bit too loud for my taste. So if you don't want to do that, all you have to do is either just kind of hurry up and go ahead of them, or just sit tight and just relax and wait until they make their way ahead, and then just have the whole place to yourself, which is what I did. I also want to add that they want to keep this area in its original form as much as possible. So besides limiting the amount of people that come here, they have no signs whatsoever. I think I saw one post showing where the trail was. Other than that, you are basically relying on yourself to find your destination. So this is what that map looks like, and it's very good. I mean, you can totally see the rock formations ahead of you and in the picture, but I don't think I would feel confident just with the paper. So I can't stress this enough. Make sure you have some kind of an app on your phone that can show you where you are at all times. Make sure your phone is charged, and make sure that you have an additional power bank or something to keep your phone charged. This is about a 6.5 mile round trip trail But if you're by yourself, which chances are you will be for a lot of the areas, and if it's in the heat in the summer and something goes wrong, something can really go wrong. So you need to make sure you have a backup plan. This entire area is just so beautiful. This is not just a destination hike. I mean, the wave is the most amazing thing you can see, but even your way up there is just, it's so beautiful. And the way I actually call this is that this hike has three parts: getting there, being there, and getting back. Because when you're coming back, you're gonna come through the same area, but everything will look different because you're looking at it from a different angle, and it's just so amazing. A video cannot possibly show you what it looked like when you were there. I mean, it's just really amazing. I can't stress that point. And there are lots of places here to hike. I didn't do any of it. Now I know, so when I go back and if I ever get to hike this area again, I will definitely explore the greater area. And this hike, I don't think is challenging, but it's not like super easy. I mean, you have to be somewhat in good shape, especially if you go in the heat or in the warmer months. Most of the time you will be hiking on rocks, which I love because it's so much easier on my knees and my ankles. But that also means you don't see any footprints. But there will be some places, actually quite a lot overall, when you're hiking in sand and it's pretty deep, which is not so bad. But at one point there will be going uphill. It's crazy steep uphill in very deep sand. So that will be interesting, but that's right before you get to the waves, so you just kind of have to put up with it. But overall, there are lots of different rock formations, and looking back, looking forward, everything just looks differently. And you will probably do what I did: take a million pictures of the same exact things. Like, you take two steps and now it looks different, and then you're going to take another picture, which is fine. It's better to do that than not take enough. It was in this area, about halfway there, when an older lady was hiking towards me. You could tell she was in excellent shape and she had all the right gear, and she started talking to me, and then she identified herself as a representative of BLM, Bureau of Land Management, and then she said, "Do you have your permit?" So they will be checking your permit, and if you hike this area without it, you will be fined $1,000. I'm not sure if I mentioned that, but you need to make sure you get your permit, and it actually has to be visible on your backpack on the outside. I think it's so that they can see it from far that you have it. We chatted a little bit, and then she told me that Misha needs to be on a leash. Even though there are no other people around or no dogs or anything, she said that there are sheep in the area and they just gave birth to baby sheep, and if they see the dog maybe charging at them or running around, they might take off, or I don't know, something bad could happen. So from this point on, Misha was on a leash. And we are now very close to the wave, and this is that area that gets very steep. Part of it is covered by deep sand, part of it is rocks. This is it. I'm not sure if you can tell, we're about halfway up. It will probably show better on the way back down, but it was really hard coming up in the sand. Going down was easy because you could just kind of slide down, but coming up was a little bit hard. But you can actually see the wave, all these lines in the rocks. You could see it right in front of you, and it's not even a huge area. It's just really, really interesting. But once you make it in that steep area up, then you're right there. pretty sure by now you're dying to find out how you can increase your chances of hiking this place, right? I promised you in the beginning of the video, so I'm going to tell you everything you need to know. So first of all, to hike the wave, there are two ways to get a permit. One is the advanced lottery, which means you have to apply 4 months ahead of time. You pay a small fee, I believe it's only $9, and they will award up to 48 people or 12 groups, whichever comes first. And the largest group size is 6. So this way, for you to get a permit, I think your chances are super small because thousands and thousands of people apply for this. So you have a very, very small chance. If you are in a group of up to 6 people, your chances are even smaller. And that is basically the secret ingredient here. The smaller the group size, the bigger your chances. But even with that, even if you're by yourself, there's a big chance you're not going to get that permit. So you kind of need to gamble, and you need to do the daily lottery, which means you need to be in the area already, and you need to apply 2 days ahead of time. So let's say you want to hike Sunday, then you need to apply Friday. I did it first thing in the morning, and Friday evening, I think it was 6 or 7 o'clock, the results would be available. So that's only 16 people, but you're not going to have thousands and thousands of people in the area. You might only have 100 that apply, maybe 200, maybe even less. I actually don't know, but it's 16 people or 4 groups, whichever comes first. And again, the biggest size of group can be 6. Now, children also count. Even babies who cannot walk, they count as people. Your dog doesn't count as a person, but you do need to put your dog on the application and you have to pay a fee, but the dog will not count against you. So let's look at this number again. 16 people or up to 4 groups, whichever comes first. So let's say they get 3 groups of 5 people. 3 times 5 is 15. Now they only have 1 permit left. Guess who's going to get it? The person who is applying by themselves. If you're going with somebody and there's only 1 spot left, now you're out of luck. So the less people there are in the group, the more chances they get of getting the permit. And that is really all the secret. So I was by myself and I got super lucky. So how would you do this? Let's say if it's the 6 of you. Honestly, I would suggest maybe only apply like 2 people at a time. So you apply with 1 person, and then 2 other people apply separately, and 2 other people apply separately. There's a chance the 4 of you out of the 6 will be able to go. There's also a bigger chance, I think, that 2 of you will be able to go out of the 6. 2 is better than nothing. You can all, sit around and not go hike the wave, or the 2 of you get to do it and take pictures and videos. So this is my advice. This is how I would do it. Also, keep in mind that these permits are non-transferable, non-refundable. You can't postpone it to a later date, no matter what happens. Sometimes you have really bad weather and the roads are washed out. Well, guess what? You got the permit, but you can't go anyways. The other thing you need to keep in mind is the next day. So let's say this was Friday. Now, Saturday morning at 8:30, you have to be either in Kanab or in Page, Arizona. Whichever is closer to you, you can choose which one you're going to go to. I drove to Kanab. It was an hour away. You need to show up on time because that's when they give out the permits. And they go through a safety meeting. They'll tell you everything you need to know. I was actually by myself, so it didn't take that long. Plus, I already hike, so they kind of didn't take that long, but they will cover everything you need to know. If this is your first time hiking, they will go into more details about it, but just basically all the legalities and everything. And then you have the rest of that day, and then the following day, you go and hike it, and by the time you will have all the information and you can go do it. So this is all I can tell you about this. And so I am going back today, the day I am uploading this video, Friday morning. I'm actually leaving, and I will be camping right in that area. I will hike Buckskin Gulch and Wild Pass Trail and a bunch of other places, and I will be there for about 3 days. And every day I'm there, I'm going to apply to hike the wave again. I will let you know in a comment on this video if I got to hike it out of the 3 days just by myself. I'm hoping I can do it. If not, it's not really a big deal, but I have to do it if I'm in the area. Also, if you are a hiker, you probably already know this, but I want to mention this anyways. When you hike in warm or hot weather, make sure you wear layers. Take more water than you think you need. Take the right types of food, so something healthy, high protein, some clean carbs, some fats. You obviously don't want to pack way too much when it's so heavy, but you need to have some food for energy. And if you are hiking with a dog, you need to make sure they have boots. I had Misha's boots with me. She didn't need it. It wasn't warm at all, the ground. But now I'm going there right now. It's going to be 95 degrees. She will be wearing her boots. And I also have a backpack for her so she could carry her own water. And these are basically overall at the minimum you need to take. You can also buy a cooling vest or cooling towels for your dog. You just need to make sure they do not overheat in the hot weather, but the same thing goes for you. So lots of water. On the way back, we stopped for a snack break, and I noticed Misha staring up very intently. And then I saw these two sheep in a distance just standing there looking at us. They were actually pretty far. Here, I'm zoomed in. And we just looked at each other for the longest time. And when it was time to go, we started walking away. But jokingly, I made some sheep noises. And I don't know what I might have said to them in their language or how it came out or whatever, but they didn't like it because they responded and actually started charging towards us. Meh. 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 Oh my God, they're coming to us. What the heck? No, don't come here. Misha, come here. You silly dog. Hello. I didn't want you to come here. I was just trying to talk to you. Alright, well, bye. Meh. Oh my goodness. So then we saw the whole family, and I remembered what that lady said, that the sheep just gave birth, and that's why she wanted me to keep Misha on the leash. So they were probably just trying to protect their babies. We left as quickly as we could because these sheep, they sort of followed us in a distance. They came some ways. I guess they wanted to make sure that we were really getting out of there. So it was only scary for a moment, but it was overall very funny, and it was a cute ending to this visit. I hope you enjoyed this video and found the information helpful. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.